Hello and welcome to the Marketplace Messenger Masterclass. Super excited to have you guys on the class. I'm just going to check and make sure that everything is working and make sure that it is showing up. Not seeing it live yet, but I just want to make sure that it is showing up. So you know how technology is. We always got to check and make sure that things are working. So if you are on the live, I see some people watching. If you want to just put in the comment section that you can hear me, that everything is working, that will be awesome because I want to just double check and make sure everything is working before we start. And I'm going to check on the page. Okay, it looks like on the page everything is good. So thank you for watching and joining us for the Marketplace Messenger Masterclass. So I'm super excited about this masterclass because this is the first time I'm teaching this content. This was actually a spirit-led thing. And God really dropped this content into my spirit. So I'm excited to share with you guys on this masterclass all about being a marketplace messenger. Again, if you are watching on the live, you should be able to comment in the comment section on the page. So you can go ahead and put any comments, say hello, let me know that you can hear me. Let me know that everything is working well. I do see it on the page, but I just want to make sure that everything is working well before we get started and get into the content today. So we have some amazing content that I'm going to be sharing. I'm going to be doing a screen sharing and hopefully everything goes well. We love technology, but technology sometimes doesn't want to work with us. All right, awesome. I see Vernell. Thank you. Yes, she says hello. Yes, I can hear you. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for letting me know that everything is working. All right, so what I'm going to do is actually share my screen. Hopefully I'll be able to see it on this because I'm not seeing it through. Okay, yeah, it's working. All right, so let me turn down the volume so you guys don't see double. Okay. All right, perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you guys can actually see the content for the masterclass. All right, so you guys should be seeing my screen. Let me just double check. Everything is working on this side. So as I mentioned, thank you so much for joining today for the Marketplace Messenger Masterclass. And there should be a comment box at the very bottom of this page. So if you do have any comments, any questions, I do encourage you to go ahead and post your comments and questions in the chat area on this page. So you are in the right place. You are in the right place. Number one, if you are a woman of faith in business, you are a woman of faith and you have your own business and you also have a desire to do more, be more, and make a difference in the world through your business, you are definitely in the right place. You're also in the right place if you are not sure what your next steps need to be, but you know you want to be in alignment with the assignment that God has given you at this time. Also, if you want to make an impact, have the influence, and earn the income you were born to make, create or up-level your purpose-driven business, then you are definitely in the right place. So what are we going to be talking about today in the Marketplace Messenger Masterclass? So you will walk away with clarity for your marketplace message. We're really going to talk about what exactly is your marketplace message and get some clarity around that. You're going to walk away with the steps to create a spirit-led action plan for your business. You're going to walk away with knowing how to amplify your voice and reach the people you are called to serve. You are going to walk away with how to make sure you are hearing from God for the next best steps for your business. And then at the very end, you will receive an invitation to go deeper and get additional help. If this stuff really resonates with you and you feel you want to go a bit deeper, there will be an invitation at the end of this masterclass for going a little bit deeper. And I really want you to stay until the end. Stay until the end to receive a special download. And that special download is two powerful ways to successfully plan and market your business. So when you stay to the end, you will receive the link to get that special download. Two powerful ways to successfully plan and market your business. So, who am I? You joined this masterclass and you're probably wondering, who is this person speaking? I'm not on the screen right now. I will come back on the screen at the very end of the presentation. So I have a picture and you guys can see who I am. I am Nadine Mullings. I am the CEO of Nadine Mullings Marketing Agency and also the founder of Women Faith Plus Business Community, the creator of the BEST, Best Content Marketing System. And my mission really is to assist women of faith in business to do three key things in their business. Number one, to be strategic. Number two, to be specific. And what I like to call the secret sauce is really being spirit led when it comes to marketing your business. And when you're strategic, specific, and spirit led, you can attract new clients, get repeat business, and build a strong social network. So that is a little bit about who I am and really what I feel called to do in the marketplace with my mission in assisting women of faith in business. So your voice, let's talk about you. Your voice is unique, number one, needed, number two, and necessary for such a time as this. No matter what is going on in the world today, your voice is needed and necessary because God has given you a unique voice. God has given you a unique message. And that is exactly what this class is about. And why I've called it Marketplace Messenger is because your voice is a message that's unique, needed, and necessary for the marketplace for such a time of as this. And God actually dropped in my spirit that you are a marketplace messenger. He has given you a message specific for the marketplace. So you are a marketplace messenger, and your message is needed and necessary for such a time as this. So what we're going to be talking about as we go through this masterclass is 3 steps for your marketplace message. So at the end of this masterclass, you will be discovering 3 key steps for your marketplace message. So what you're going to do is get clarity. That is number 1. We're going to clarify, get clear on the foundational principles for your marketplace message. So we're going to be going through that in this masterclass. Number 2, we're going to simplify. We are going to simplify by really creating a spirit-led action plan. What does it look like to have a spirit-led action plan for your business? And the third step is to amplify. And amplify is really about getting your message out there in your marketplace. And in order to get your message out there in your marketplace, you actually need to schedule your activity, calendar your activity, know what you need to be doing in the marketplace. And that is how you amplify your message. So it is all about step 1, clarify. Step 2, simplify, and step 3, amplify. And we're going to go through each one of these steps as we go through the masterclass today. So let's start with clarify. A lot of times we all get caught up in not getting clarity, right? We're not clear on what we need to be doing. So I'm going to actually walk you through 5 foundational things that you need to get clarity on. In order for your message in the marketplace to be powerful, these 5 faith-based foundational things are going to be key to your marketplace message. So we are going to talk about getting clear on these 5 foundational faith-based principles in the marketplace. And if any of you were on the Power of Your Voice Summit, some of the stuff that we're talking about is going to look familiar to you. So if this is the first time you're hearing about it, just last month, I hosted a Power of Your Voice Summit. And the Power of Your Voice Summit actually walked everyone that attended the summit through these 5 foundational pieces, and I had about 15 plus guest experts that talked in detail about these pieces. So today we're not going to go into as much detail because this masterclass is, of course, not 15 speakers and 5 days long, but it's still the core and most important foundational pieces to clarifying your marketplace message and making your voice powerful. So let's talk about them. 5 faith-based principles to get clear on your marketplace message. The first principle is purpose. Why? Start with the why. Some of you may be familiar with the book Start with Why by Simon Sinek, and it's such a powerful book. Definitely, if you haven't read it, I encourage you to pick it up and read it because it talks about how organizations, businesses, and companies should really start with their why and lead with their why in the marketplace, because your why is what is going to resonate and attract your ideal clients when you start with your why. So the problem is some people aren't really clear on their why. And I'd love, as we go through each of these principles, for you to put in the chat section. Again, the chat section should be at the bottom of this page so you have the ability to type in any messages. So as we go through each one, let me know if you're clear. Let me know if you have clarity in some of these areas. So purpose is all about starting with your why and knowing why you are doing what you do in your business and in the marketplace. But not only knowing it, but also writing it down. There's power in writing things down. This is one of the mistakes that I see a lot of business owners do. They have stuff in their head. They're like, oh yeah, I know why my business exists. Oh, I know the vision for my business, but they haven't written any of these things down. So what I want you to do is put in the chat section for number one, do you have clarity on your purpose? And do you have it written down? So just put one yes or one no in the chat box, because that will help me to actually see, where you guys are at when it comes to these faith-based principles. So put that in the chat box because I'd love to see where you're at. And do you feel that your purpose, your business purpose, the why of your business is something that you're super clear about and you actually have it written down? I see Carol put in the chat box, smiley face. Hey, Carol, thanks for joining. Vernell with Black Women's Health and Life Coaching said yes for her purpose. Awesome, Vernell. I know we went through a lot of this in your session, so I'm happy to see that. So definitely, if you're watching on the replay, let us know, do you have clarity when it comes to your purpose? The second thing that's so important when it comes to your purpose, excuse me, sorry, is vision. So vision is the end game. What is the end game of your business? What is that big vision that God has given you for your business? And I always like to give the example in the Bible of Abraham. And when God took Abraham out and he showed him the sky and he said, look up and see all the stars in the sky and know that this is the vision that I have for you, your descendants. You will be the father of nations. God's vision was so big for Abraham that he told him to look up in the sky and see all the stars and know that that will be his descendants. And the reality at the time, Abram didn't have any children, was very old. And the reality of it in the natural was like, wow, that vision looks impossible, God. That vision doesn't even look like something that can actually happen. And I want you to really reflect and think about it for your own business, because God has probably planted a seed of a really big vision that scares you, a vision that you didn't think was attainable, a vision that you didn't think that you can do on your own. And that is why you are in partnership with God when it comes to your business and your vision. So make sure that you're really going within and seeking God as you answer these questions to really figure out what your vision is. So go ahead and really think about that, and then definitely, not everything that we cover in the masterclass today you're going to get clarity on today, but this is definitely the stepping stone and the beginning of you getting clarity on these 5 faith-based principles. So the third principle that I want you to think about when it comes to getting clear on your marketplace message is mission. So, mission is really the how, right? The how are you called to fulfill that vision, that big vision that God has given you is actually going to take several assignments and several missions for you to actually get to the vision. And that's why it's important to really reflect and understand where you are in this particular season of your life and of your business, and how are you called to fulfill the vision right now. What is your actual mission right now? How are you going to get to that big vision that God has given you? So really reflecting on, what is your mission? How are you going to achieve that vision that God has given you? What are those steps that you're going to do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, excuse me, on fulfilling the vision, which is the mission part of the five faith-based principles to get clear on your marketplace message. And again, I want to remind you, all of these things are big topics. So we're not going to necessarily get clarity on these key things in this masterclass, but it definitely is the first step to getting you thinking about these things if you haven't already been thinking about these things when it comes to your business. So, the fourth faith based principle that is important to get clarity around when it comes to your voice and your marketplace message is who. The who are you called to serve and what are you called to do? So, really getting clear on the who is going to be super important. Who are you called to serve? And I'll give you an example with my business. When I first started my business, and I've shared this story several times, I might have shared it on the summit or any other masterclass or interview you've seen me on. But when I first started my business, I really thought about, okay, who is my target audience? Who do I really need to be working with? Who is my ideal client? And at the time, I was doing a lot of networking and I was running into a lot of real estate agents. I was running into accountants and financial planners. Those were the three people that I always ran into when I was doing networking: financial planners, real estate agents, and accountants. And I felt, okay, that makes sense. I'm always running into these people when I'm networking. Maybe that's who my ideal client needs to be. Logically, it made sense. I'm running into these people all the time. So I decided to do market research. That's always going to be important when it comes to who you're called to serve and who you're supposed to work with. Do market research and talk to those people. So I had a lot of market research, spoke to a lot of realtors, financial planners, and accountants, and actually ended up getting quite a few clients just from doing market research. That's also a tip for you. Market research can help you to get clients when you ask them questions about what they're struggling with and talk about solutions as far as what you help with, and have those conversations that really helps you to open up the door and people actually consider working with you just because you're doing market research about their issues. So when I started doing market research with realtors, financial planners, and accountants, and I actually started working with some of them, I realized something was a little bit off. I didn't feel like that's really who I was supposed to be working with. And so I had to go a little bit inward. And at the same time, I actually received an email from a colleague that was launching her book. She was launching her book. It was 40 Days of Prayer for My Business by Becky A. Davis. So Becky had emailed and said, I'm launching a book, 40 Days of Prayer for My Business. And something in my heart leaped when I got that email. I was like, I love this topic. I love prayer for your business. I love combining faith and business, because at the time I wasn't doing that with my business. I need to support her. And I need to actually purchase 10 books. God dropped in my spirit the number 10. Purchase 10 books, have a brunch, invite 10 ladies. All of those ladies will receive the book as a part of their ticket, and invite her to be a guest speaker. So when I did that, and I realized when I started doing the power brunches that I really wasn't called to serve financial planners, accountants, and realtors like I thought. I was called to serve women of faith in business that were in the space of transformation, that were really combining faith and business and helping to transform people's life through coaching, whether it's life coaching, business coaching, health coaching. They're really called to serve in the coaching and consulting space, and they're transforming people's life. And they're also women of faith who are really glorifying God on their platform, because something just resonated with me. Something really hit my soul when I started working with those people. So you really are called to a specific group of people, and sometimes it takes action. It takes, working with some type of people and realizing, okay, something doesn't feel right here. I don't feel like I'm in alignment. It's one of the key things that we're talking about in this masterclass. How do you know that you're in alignment with God's assignment for you? And a lot of times your heart will tell you. Your heart will tell you that this is what you need to be doing. So that's how I ended up realizing who I was called to serve was really women of faith in business, that they were using their business platforms to glorify God, and they were in the space of transformation as coaches and consultants. And I was called to really help them to step up and have a strategy, like I said before, to be specific and to also be spirit led. So that was what I was called to help them to do. So I share that with you guys to just give you an example of the difference between what you will hear people say when it comes to marketing, and finding an ideal client or having a target audience, and actually being called to a group of people and being called to do a specific thing. And the third piece, I know that's, let me hide this. The third piece is message. It really is about what is that specific message that you're supposed to be saying in the marketplace. What is the message that God has given you to be a marketplace messenger? And I'll give you an example of message when it comes to my business, and specifically what I've heard other people say about message. A lot of times God will drop a word or a phrase in your spirit. So I'll give you an example. And since I was talking about the Power of Your Voice Summit earlier, I'll give you an example with the Power of Your Voice Summit, that God had actually given me the phrase power of voice earlier this year, in the beginning of 2021. And the phrase just kept sticking out in my brain, like it just wouldn't go away. That's another sign. When a word or a phrase doesn't go away, it's usually God calling you to that word or that phrase and calling you to do something with that word or that phrase. So power of voice wouldn't go away. And he actually even guided me to the scripture, Genesis chapter 1, verse 3. And in Genesis chapter 1, verse 3, it says, God says, let there be light. And then there was light. God spoke the words, let there be light. And then light was created. So he created the world by the power of his voice. And he was showing me this in the scripture, the power of voice. And he dropped in my spirit, everyone, all of my believers, all of my children have the same ability and same power with their voice. And I thought, wow, that's an awesome message. And he also dropped in my spirit, this is not a message limited to you. This is a message that I want you to share so others know the power of their voice. And I was like, wow, God, really? How do I even share that message? And that's when the idea of the Power of Your Voice Summit, a virtual summit where I invited 15 plus speakers, excuse me, to talk about power of your voice. And we broke down these 5 faith-based principles that we're talking about today: purpose, vision, mission, calling, and message on the summit. So it all started with a phrase, power of your voice, or power of voice was the actual phrase. And I've heard so many people talk about the same thing has happened to them in their business. They've had a word or a phrase that God has dropped in their spirit, and that has led to a business, it has led to a podcast, it's led to a book. It usually starts with a message, and that really is your marketplace message. So getting really clear on what that message is going to make your marketplace message really powerful. So those are the 5 faith-based principles to get clear on, so you have a powerful marketplace message. Get clear on your purpose. What is your why? Get clear on your vision. What is the vision God has given you? Your mission. How are you called to fulfill the vision? Your calling. who you are called to serve and what you are called to do, and your message. What is that message that you need to be saying in the marketplace? Definitely in the chat section, I see your comments. So if you have any questions on any of these faith-based principles, go ahead and put that in the chat section and I will take a look at that. And don't forget to also rate, rate each one of these. I see that Carol put yes for number one. She's clear on it and she has it written down. Vernell also put yes for number one. She's clear on it and she has it written down. Go ahead and put those for vision, mission, calling, and message. Are you clear on it? And do you have it written down? Put a yes or no. So it would be 2 yes, 3 no, 4 yes, whatever the case may be. Go ahead and put that in the comment section, as I would love to see where everyone is at with these 5 faith-based principles to get clear on your marketplace message. All right, so that is clarity. Now let's go into, actually, I have a client that I worked with, Sharon Reed. She is actually a heart health coach, so I want to share her story. And she worked with me one-on-one in my marketing strategy session, and she just simply said, I'm thankful for the one-on-one marketing strategy session that I had with Nadine. She was able to create clarity. We just talked about clarity around my brand, specifically around her core message and identifying her target audience. The work that we did in my session will benefit various aspects of my marketing, and in a short time, she was able to share invaluable marketing tips. It's best marketing at its best. So that was my client, Sharon Reed, who is a heart health coach who did a one-on-one strategy session with me and got a lot of clarity around some of those key components that I talked about as the foundational pieces. All right, so the second step is simplify. So once you get clear, a lot of times as believers, and I guess people in general, is we tend to make things more complicated than it needs to be. I feel that God is very simple. He is a God of order. He is a God that's simple. As human beings, we make it complicated. We make it difficult. God is like, I'm trying to simplify this thing for you, but you're making it difficult. So go ahead and so the second step rather is about simplifying your message, simplifying it. So the way that you simplify your message is really to create a plan, to write it down. As I mentioned before, write the vision, make it plain. That's scripture, that's biblical. It is important for us to write things down. So that's why it was important for us to do step number 1, which was actually creating and writing down the 5 foundational pieces for our business. That really makes it simple. It really makes it simple for us because then we always refer back to those 5 foundational pieces. I always tell people, once you get clear on those 5 foundational pieces, that is the key to your marketing. That is the key to your marketing copy. That is the key to your marketing look and feel. Everything will be based on those 5 foundational pieces that we talked about in step 1. So once you have those 5 foundational pieces written down in your simple spirit-led plan, the second thing you need to write out is your top business goals. What are the top 3 things that God is calling you to do in this season? Remember, every season is different. And that's why it's important to always go back and look at your plan and look at what you're doing in business. I always recommend every 90 days, every quarter, look at what your goals are. Has anything changed? 2020 would be a good example of how things have changed, right? A lot of things changed in 2020. So some people had to kind of change their business goals, shift a lot of things, do things differently in 2020. So that's why it's important to always visit and say, okay, what are my top 3 business goals for this particular season? Specifically, what is God calling me to do for this specific season? What are those 3 goals that he's calling me to do? So write down your top 3 business goals is a great way to simplify things, not get caught up in shiny object syndrome. This is another thing that happens to a lot of us, right? We see, oh, this person is doing that, or this person has a great strategy, or this person seems to be doing awesome in their business. No, no, no. Don't get caught up in the shiny object syndrome. Stay focused on what God is calling you to do specifically, and really focus on the top 3 business goals that God is telling you to do in this season. This is how you simplify things and don't make it complicated. So get shiny object syndrome, focus on what God is calling you to do in this particular season, and write those 3 things down in your spirit-led plan. The third thing you need to do in your spirit-led plan is write down the activities to achieve your goal. Faith without works is dead. You can't just have faith that your business is going to grow. You can't just have faith and believe. You have to take action, but not just any type of action. I'm encouraging you to take spirit-led action. What does spirit-led action look like? Spirit-led action is really, as I mentioned before, the things that God is tugging at your heart to do. And I'll give you an example of spirit-led versus logic, again, with my business. So one of the things that I did several years ago is I created this marketing workshop. And the marketing workshop was to do with my signature system, best content marketing, which is blogging, email, social, and text. And I was like, I'm going to teach the world all about marketing using blogging, email, social, and text. I'm going to have this awesome workshop, and everyone's going to come and attend the workshop. That I started to market and promote it and put it out there, and it was crickets. Nobody was interested in this workshop. And I was like, why? Do I not know how to market and promote my business? Why is nobody signing up for this workshop? And I shared the story earlier, how I got the email from someone that was launching a book, 40 Days of Prayer for Your Business. And when I created the power brunches to promote her book, and then ended up doing them for 3 years, then people were coming in droves. I was selling out on the brunches. They were intimate events, so it was less than 20 people. But each one of those, I was always selling out, versus the workshop where I was getting crickets. And I realized that in order for us to, as believers, to be successful in business, it's important for us to take spirit-led action. And spirit-led action, a lot of times, is not necessarily what you think in your head you need to be doing logically, but what God is dropping in your spirit and in your heart to do. So when I said, okay, God is dropping in my spirit to support these women of faith in business and have these intimate events called power brunches, and that's the direction I'm going to go instead of creating these marketing workshops, that's where I found success, because I was in alignment with my assignment. So it's so important for us to be in alignment with the assignment that God has given us, and not to just think logically, this is what I need to be doing to market and promote my business. So always going inward, always paying attention to the signs that God has given you as to what your particular assignment is, and making sure the activity that you're doing in your business is in alignment with the assignment God has given you for this season, because that really is what spirit-led activity is going to produce the best results in your business. So that is how you make it simple. Write down the 5 foundational pieces that we discussed in step 1. Write down your top 3 business goals that God has given you, and write down the spirit-led activities that you need to be doing to achieve your goals. It's simple. Let's not make it complicated. Write the vision, make it plain, take the action. Faith without works is dead. So that really is step number 2 in simplifying your marketplace message. Wanted to share another client with you. This is Tonya Kaiser. She is a State Farm insurance agent, and she worked with me one-on-one to help with her marketing plan. And she says I'm her strategic partner, clarity builder, roadmap creator, to name a few things. There's not enough words to describe what Nadine has provided for my business. I scheduled a VIP day with her to help with marketing. She's a breath of fresh air. Her process was refreshing, easy to follow. She brought things to my attention that I did not even realize, and she placed things that were thought of into an executable plan. She is really a one-stop shop when it comes to marketing. I trust her guidance and appreciate the mutual respect we have for each other to achieve our common goal of profitable growth. And I will say that these testimonials are really not about me as much as they are saying Nadine, Nadine. But as anyone that works with me knows, I'm totally Holy Spirit led when it comes to creating a plan with my clients. So I consider us all co creators, me, my client, and the Holy Spirit. We all work together to create the plan for my clients. So, as much as, like I said, these testimonials will mention my name, I really feel that I'm just a vessel that's being used for my clients and to help my clients with their marketing for their business. So that is Tonya Kaiser. And she talks about how I simplified things for her by helping her create a roadmap. All right, so the third step, remember it's breaking it down. Your marketplace message is really broken down into these 3 steps. Number 1, clarify, and we talked about the 5 things that you need to clarify. Number 2, simplify and write the key things down that we just talked about. The third and final step when it comes to your marketplace message is amplify. We want you to amplify that message to reach the people that God has called you to serve in the marketplace. You need to amplify your message. Just like the short story I shared earlier, when God dropped in my spirit power of voice, he wasn't just telling it to me for it to just sit, for me to be like, oh, God, that's really powerful. I love how you talked about the power of your voice. He was actually telling it to me to amplify it, get it out in the marketplace, be a marketplace messenger. So it's so important. Step number 3 is to amplify that message. So now that you have everything written down, you have a simple plan, you know what your business goals are, you know what the activities are, spirit led activities that you need to do in your business. How do you amplify things? You amplify things by being consistent. You have to be consistently out there in the marketplace with your message. How are you going to be consistent with your message? You have to create a calendar and schedule. I always talk about the importance of having a calendar and schedule so you know where you are going. If you think about when you go on a road trip and you put in the GPS and navigation to figure out what you need to do next, it's the same thing with your business. Yes, you have to be spirit led, and spirit led always trumps any strategy or plan that you've created. If God is telling you to go in one direction, you listen, you be obedient, and you go in that direction. But God is also a God of order, and that's why he desires for us to map things out, have a calendar, and to have a schedule of what you need to be doing to amplify your message in the marketplace. And God actually dropped in my spirit last year the importance of 90 days. For some reason, that window of 90 days is a great container of support of getting your message out there. So originally, I used to teach about creating a plan for 6 months or a 12-month plan, but I really feel that 90 days is the window. A quarter is what you need to be focusing on each quarter, because as I said, each quarter you need to be going back and asking God, is this still the assignment? Is this still what you require me to do in this season? So you're always checking in every 90 days. And with my clients, we usually have a quarterly retreat, those who are in my mastermind. And every 90 days, we do a retreat and we reflect on what happened for that quarter, we reset for the next quarter, and we make sure that we're resting in our business, because God is not a God of hustle and grind. He wants us to rest and lean on him. So those are some of the things that we do every 90 days. Make sure that we're reflecting, make sure that we're resting, and make sure that we're resetting for the next 90 days. So when it comes to amplifying your message, create that calendar and schedule. What will you do consistently for the next 90 days? The key word here is consistently, right? A lot of people just say, one of the things I struggle with when it comes to marketing my business is really being consistent. And the reason why they struggle with that is they don't have a calendar, they don't have a schedule, they don't have a plan on what they need to do to be consistent. So you have to write down in your calendar and schedule, what are you doing on a weekly basis to make sure you're amplifying your message in the marketplace? I talked about earlier my best content marketing system, where it talks about blogging, email, social, and text. In order to use that system, you have to be consistent. You have to be consistently blogging, consistently sending out your emails, consistently on social media. For example, for me, every Wednesday, my weekly email goes out to my list so I can consistently show up for them, consistently provide value for them, consistently show that I care. So making sure that you have some type of frequency with whatever spirit-led activities that God has told you to do to market your business, because it's different for everyone. I will talk about the best content marketing system, and I will also tell my clients, only pick things that resonate with you. Everybody's different. You have a unique fingerprint marketing plan. So pick the things that God is telling you to do, and you move forward with that, and you move forward being consistent in it. So when will you do it? Every week. If you do it every week, pick a day. My newsletter goes out every Wednesday to my email list. I usually have a blog post that comes out every Tuesday with new value and content for my clients. I always post a quote or something inspiring or inspirational every Thursday on my social media. So this is a way that I'm consistently showing up and consistently amplifying the message. So you're not just consistently showing up just to show up, but you're consistently showing up with the message that God is telling you to share in the marketplace. This is where you're going to see the most results with your business. And I'll share one of my clients, Helen Panos. She is the owner and operator of Dynamis Learning Academy. And she wrote, Nadine has been a great asset to my company. I have attended the Best Marketing Plan workshop and have learned many new ideas that I have implemented for my blog, my social media campaigns. Nadine has also assisted me with creating a marketing plan and a calendar. See, guys, I'm always teaching my clients about scheduling and calendar and a calendar for my business. She's very reliable and her integrity is high, which I truly appreciate, which is Helen Panos. And I also worked with her one-on-one to create her best marketing plan for her business. So I want to take the time right now to recap. I think it's always important to tell you what we're going to talk about it, and then tell you what we talked about. So we actually went through the 3 steps for your marketing place message. Number 1, clarify. Get clear on those foundational principles. Number 2, simplify. Create a spirit-led action plan. Don't do everything and anything that you see everyone doing. Be totally spirit-led when it comes to the action that you need to be doing for your business. Number 3, amplify. How do you amplify? You stay consistently in the marketplace with the message. How do you stay consistent? You create a schedule and a calendar so you know what you're doing on a weekly basis, daily basis, monthly basis in order to amplify your message and make sure that you are showing up in the marketplace the way that God is asking you to show up. So I did mention that at the as a part of the masterclass, I will offer an invitation. So if you really want to go deeper, really understand and know what it looks to run a business that is your marketing is strategic, specific, and spirit-led. If you really want to do more than just hear this information in this masterclass, but you have a desire to go deeper with this, imagine in 90 days you will have a plan to confidently move your business forward in alignment with the current assignment that God has given you. So imagine that you can confidently move forward knowing that this is the assignment God has given me, and I'm moving forward confidently in the next 90 days to pursue what God is telling me to do in my business. So if that's something that you desire, this invitation is for you. If that's not something that you desire, please go ahead and stay till the very end, because I did promise you the download of 2 powerful ways to market your business. So you still can have access to that at the very end of this masterclass. So you are invited to join me for a spirit-led marketing planning day. This is a group planning day where we actually go through all of the things that we discussed in the masterclass today in more detail. So we actually go deep and we talk about it specifically for your business, and you write it down. You write it down and make it plain. You simplify it, you clarify it, and we talk about how you amplify it by scheduling it out on a calendar. So I'm going to be having the Spirit-Led Marketing Planning Day on Friday, May 28th. It's a 3-hour intensive, and it's from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you really feel like, I need to carve out time to really get clear, to really simplify, and to really plan out amplifying this message and to be a marketplace messenger, then this really is an invitation for you to join me in the Spirit-Led Marketing Planning Day, which is next week, Friday, May 28th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. So it's 3 hours. We go deep. It's intense, but at the end of it, it's so worth it because you walk away with an amazing Spirit-Led marketing plan for your business. So let me just talk about what we will go over together. We will create your results-driven marketing plan. We will set your top 3 business goals for the next 90 days. And again, this is all spirit-led, so it's not what you think in your head you need to be doing, but more of what God is leading you and directing you to do. What are those 3 business goals for the next 90 days? We will create your marketing foundation, what we talked about in masterclass today, those key foundational pieces. We will be going through each one of those in the class, in the VIP day together. We will create a spirit-led marketing strategy. Again, we are co-creating. It's not about me. And honestly, it's really not about you because you are a vessel and you are being used by God. So we really invite the Holy Spirit into the atmosphere and we co-create along with the Holy Spirit. You, myself, and the group will be co-creating and customizing a marketing plan specifically for you. And during the session that we have together, we will also create a marketing calendar and schedule to cover the next 90 days of your business. And there's more. There's things that aren't listed here that we will definitely cover in the intensive next week, Friday. So usually when people work with me one-on-one, the investment amount is $14.97. So a lot of those clients that I show testimonials for, they invested in one-on-one strategy sessions. In fact, it wasn't until February of this year, February 2021, that God dropped in my spirit that I should have an offer for a group. So if anyone desires to invest at a lower investment, make it a group day where it's a group of, and it's an intimate group. Usually I like to keep it 5 or less people for these because I want to make sure that we're spending time specifically on your business. So that's why I like to keep it very intimate. God has called me to intimacy. I'm not called to the masses. So the group is going to be intimate. Like I mentioned, usually I only do it one-on-one, but February of this year, God dropped it in my spirit to offer this as a group option. So if you were to invest with me one-on-one, the investment is $14.97, but at the group investment, it's only $4.97. So you will be able to go through it in an intimate small group and we'll get a customized plan for a customized marketing plan, spirit-led marketing plan for your business for only $4.97. And if you are interested in doing that, the URL is listed at the bottom of the page. So you can actually go to my website, nadinemullings.com/SMP, which stands for Spirit-Led Marketing Planning Day. I had to figure out what was the acronym on that again. Spirit-Led Marketing Planning Day. So SMPD. So you just go to my website, nadinemullings.com/Spirit-Led Marketing Planning Day, and you will be able to sign up. There's 2 options on the page. You can actually just go ahead and sign up if you know this is what you need for your business. Don't question it. Just be obedient, take the steps, sign up, and you can click on that button to purchase. But sometimes we need a conversation. I understand that. So there's also a button if you want to see if this is a right fit for you. You can also schedule a conversation with me and we'll talk about it and make sure that this group VIP day is the right next step for you. So you have 2 options on that page. You can either go ahead and purchase if you know in your heart, in your spirit that this is the next step for you. Just go ahead and purchase and join us next week, Friday. If you have some questions, if you want to have a conversation, make sure it is the right fit for you, then you can click on the button to go ahead and schedule a conversation and we can see if it is right for you. So I'm going to open it up for questions, and then after the question part, I will go ahead and give you the link, as I promised, to get the special download. which will share with you 2 powerful ways to market your business. So definitely stay to the very end. After questions, I will go ahead and pop that link up so you can get that special download. So I am checking the chat section, and I see Nashira says, I think I need a little more work on spirit-led activities. That is a huge one, Nashira. A lot of people, when I talk about spirit-led marketing, that's the biggest question that I get. People ask me, well, what does it look like to do spirit-led marketing versus regular marketing? And spirit-led is really about being led by the spirit, just being obedient, even though it doesn't look like what everyone else is doing. It doesn't look like what your industry may be doing. It doesn't look like what your colleagues are doing, but God is calling you to do it differently. That really is what spirit-led looks like, and making sure that you're focused on just the activities that you feel led to do in your business is important. So thank you for sharing that, Nashira. Any questions about what we covered, whether it comes to clarifying, simplifying, or amplifying? Go ahead and put that in the chat box, and I would love to answer any questions that you may have. So any questions about the masterclass itself, the content that we covered, or any questions about the spirit-led marketing class that we're going to be having, forget the name, spirit-led marketing planning day that we're going to be having next week, Friday. If you have specific questions about that, you can also put that in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer those questions for you. And I'm not seeing any questions. I know there is a delay between the chat and also on my side. So I see a question coming up from Carol that says, how do you know if what you are doing is spirit-led? Good question, Carol. So how do you know if what you are doing is spirit-led? I always, and Carol's a good example of this because she always talks about having divine downloads. Everyone has different terminology of what it looks like for them, but you know it in your spirit or pulling at your heart. God is telling you to do something. And honestly, a lot of times it just won't go away. The desire to do the thing, the thought of doing the thing, just really doesn't go away. It pulls at your heartstrings, it drops in your spirit. You have a divine download, as Carol likes to say. That's how you know you're doing spirit-led activity. The other side of the coin, when it's not spirit-led activity, is you're just doing something just to do it. You see other people doing similar things in your marketplace. You see other people in your industry doing these things. And the example I shared for you earlier was workshops. I know other people that have marketing companies do workshops, and it works for them. So I thought that's what I needed to do. So that was just taking action based on logic, based on head. There was nothing in my heart that was truly pulling me in that direction. So to answer your question, it really is about feeling it in your spirit, feeling it in your heart, having a desire that doesn't go away. Those are some of the things that make you realize and recognize that it really is spirit-led versus head-led or industry-led, or just something that you feel that you need to be doing. Then I see Vernell says, no questions, but I love the spirit-led focus. Yes, I know, Vernell. Thank you for sharing that. I know Vernell is a spirit-led woman herself, and so she is definitely spirit-led when it comes to the action that she does in her business. And it's so important as believers to do that, because a lot of times we just get caught up and kind of brainwashed with the way that the world does business and the way that the world says things need to be done. So as believers, it really is, I feel like this is a season for us to rise up and really be led by God and not led by the world. And in order to be led by God, it really is about that spirit-led focus, as Vernell said, and having that spirit-led focus. And then I see Carol says, be spirit-led means being clear and having clarity around what God needs you to do. Exactly. Not what you think you need to do, not what the guru or expert says you should do, not any of those things, but knowing and being clear on what God is telling you to do. So I love that. Yes, Carol, that is correct. Being spirit-led means being clear and having clarity around what God needs you to do. So great comments in the chat section here. Thank you guys so much for engaging. It's always good to be able to answer questions and see the comments in the comment section. So thank you guys for engaging. So if there aren't any other questions, I'm not seeing anything pop up in the chat right now. I am going to go ahead and show you guys the link for staying to the end. Yay, you stayed until the end. So you definitely have access to the 2 powerful ways to successfully plan and market your business. You've kind of already gotten a hint from the class today what those 2 powerful ways are. But when you go to the download at the link below, bit.ly/2 powerful ways, go to that link. And I'm not sure if I can put it in the chat. I'm going to try and put it in the chat for you guys too. So it will actually be a link in the chat section. You can click on it and get access to the download. And I will go ahead and get back on the screen so you guys can see my face once I type in this link. 2 powerful ways. Hopefully that will show up and it's clickable so then you guys can actually get to the download. All right, so bear with me. This is like, let me see, how do I actually get back? Okay, so I'm not really sure how I stop sharing my screen. Here we go, stop sharing screen. All right, so I am back. I'm learning some new things today. This is the first time I'm actually doing it through YouTube and the first time I actually am doing the screen sharing. So thank you guys for hanging with me as I learn how to work the technology. So I will also put in the comment section the link to the Spirit-led marketing planning day next week, Friday. I keep forgetting the name of that. So I'll put that in the chat too. So that link will be available if you are interested in signing up and or if you're interested in having an appointment. Thank you, Vernell. She said she made an appointment. Thank you, Vernell. And glad you enjoyed and you were able to get value from it. Looking forward to chatting with you about that. So Spirit-led Marketing Planning Day. Let me put that in the chat section. So that is also a link that you guys can click on. All right, so that is, there we go. Hopefully that links too. All right, so thank you again for joining us for the Marketplace Messenger Masterclass. Again, if you decide that you want to go deeper, go ahead and click on the link that I just put in the chat box. Schedule either a time to chat or schedule, if you want to go ahead and participate next week, Friday, in the group session, go ahead and click on the button to go ahead and purchase. Thank you guys so much for participating and for joining me today. And if there are no other questions, Cal said, new things are awesome. Yes, new things are awesome. This is definitely a season of new things. I'm doing a lot of new things this year, and I appreciate it. And I have to give a shout out to Carol because Carol has helped me with a lot of these new things. So shout out to you for helping me with all of these things and specifically technology. So that pretty much concludes our masterclass for today. Definitely reach out to me either via the page or I'm also on social media, Nadine Mullings and Nadine Mullings Marketing Agency if you want to stay connected that way too. So thank you everyone for watching and thank you so much for being on the masterclass today. Bye.